Podcast number 4 on causes of uneven world development. This podcast covers how being a colony of an empire in the past affects a country's level of development today, which regions of the world benefit most from world trade, which regions of the world often suffer from unfair trade, and the physical factors that can mean that a country may struggle to develop. Colonialism. From around 1400, European explorers set out to control new territories, often seeking wealth such as gold. From 1650 to 1900, over 10 million people were transported from Africa to North America to work as slaves on plantations. Almost all of the wealth produced in this period went to European powers. By the end of the 19th century, much of Africa and parts of South America and Asia had been divided up between the European superpowers. Countries such as the UK, Germany, Spain and France had powerful empires and colonies. Historically, colonialism harmed many countries and sometimes created conflict, which continues today. Colonialism ended for the most part in the 20th century. For example, India and Nigeria gained independence from the UK in 1947 and 1960. But independence sometimes creates new problems. When the Democratic Republic of Congo gained freedom from Belgium in the 1960s, there were reputedly just 14 university graduates amongst its population. So badly had the Belgians neglected the education system, power struggles often took place in newly independent countries, especially if rich natural resources like diamonds were at stake. It can be said that poverty causes low life expectancy. Frequent illnesses and the lack of nutritious diet make economic development hard to achieve. North America and Europe dominate world trade. The importance of Asia is growing as it includes Japan and the emerging economies of India and China. Most of the world's trade is between rich countries. Rich countries and large international companies have a lot of power. They want to pay as little as possible for their raw materials, many of which come from LICs. There is often more supply than demand, which keeps the prices low. Processing, which adds value, takes place in the richer developed countries. In this way, the rich countries get richer and the poor countries are not able to develop. LICs and NEEs have traditionally exported primary products such as minerals and agricultural products. In the last 20 years, many of these countries have developed manufacturing. Manufacturing products now make up 80% of the exports of NEEs. Some countries have trade surpluses, while others have trade deficits. This often leads to a debt trap and makes further development difficult. International organisations like the World Trade Organization have been criticised for not doing enough to establish fair terms of global trade for food and raw materials. Sometimes corrupt leaders of LICs have profited personally from selling resources cheaply to TNCs, transnational corporations. And food prices fluctuate wildly depending on competition and the quality of the crops. Physical factors that can impact on development include coastlines, natural hazards, and climate. There is quite a strong link between the lack of a coast and lower levels of development, with a few exceptions. The world's 45 landlocked countries are LICs or NEEs. Of the 15 lowest-ranking HDI countries, 8 have no coastline. The greatest development challenge is not being able to trade goods easily without ports. In 2010, a devastating earthquake struck Port-au-Prince, capital city of Caribbean island of Haiti. 230,000 people died. Since then, the country has struggled to develop. But many countries with a high level of development suffer from hazards too. Japan, Italy and Iceland, or all HICs located on plate boundaries. The influence of climate on development is not very clear. For every poor, hot desert country like Chad, there is a rich one like Saudi Arabia. The same is true of tropical rainforest countries. While Central Africa's equatorial climate could be viewed as a development challenge, Brazil is the world's 8th largest economy. You may now want to try one of the following example exam questions. Justify why trade is more important than colonialism in causing the development gap. Explain how environmental factors can lead to a lack of development in a country.